We are Project 22, North Carolina's civil court system. My name is Kara, and my teammate is Kiana, and we are working for the Center for Responsible Lending, which is a nonprofit economic organization based in Durham. CRL seeks to understand the economic impact when criminal court cases are converted into civil court cases. So our task was cleaning 5 years of civil court data to prepare these CSV files for upload to CRL's database. This will allow CRL to visualize statewide economic impacts of civil court cases in North Carolina. As a brief intro, the state currently possesses 2 terminals, the Automated Criminal and Infraction System database and the eCourts Odyssey terminal, which contains civil court data. Unfortunately, users can only view individual court cases on these terminals, and so CRL would not be able to conduct statewide debt analyses using these platforms. Therefore, CRL will need to design its own system in order to be able to conduct the analyses they wish to. So to help them get there, we were tasked with cleaning 5 years of records from North Carolina's Administrative Office of the Courts, preparing the information to be implemented into a new database. When we were initially given the raw data, it was sorted into case, abstract, and support files. Case files contain the majority of the data of each civil court procedure. Abstract files contain information on monetary sums associated with the case, and support files contain information on the parties involved in each of these cases. And these cases are further sorted into record types, and these record types are indicated at the beginning of each line of code, which will be seen on a future slide. Using this, we need to be able to categorize all 200-something variables, and to do so, we had a few objectives. So first, we had to use the given data dictionary, which was generated by the Administrative Office of the Courts, in order to understand the data's basic organization. This data dictionary has already been implemented using the VCAP-R package into RStudio, but we will need to update that data dictionary to better reflect the character counts for each variable. And finally, we will need to parse the lines of code by record type, as well as identify some basic join keys to allow CRL to have a head start on designing its database. This is an image of some of the raw code we were given at the beginning of the project. There were millions of lines of civil court data, as well as about 45 to 60 gigabytes of information. This data was presented in long strings of code, and we had to manually count the first few lines to try to understand where the variables began, as well as to understand the missing information that was in the document.
Afterwards, we began to parse the files in RStudio using the VCAP package. This package cleans the data line by line, sorting by record type. The initial output had several mistakes, so we updated the data dictionary. This requires us to change the number of characters allotted to each variable and swap the order of the columns. One example is shown on the right, where there were mistakes with the abstract data dictionary, so we had to manually change the data frame by entering the table type, table code, table ID, column names, variable type, null option, description of the variables, etc. Once we fixed our code, we parsed all the files again, resulting in over 500 CSV files. Next, we hypothesized about the possible join keys. We used Python and Excel to count the frequency of the variable names and created an entity relationship diagram shown on the left. We determined that case number was a primary join key for case files, so we would need 2 one-to-many join keys to combine case, abstract, and support files into a database. Finally, we proposed that AWS could serve as a new database platform. Conclusion. This project changed our perspectives on data that is publicly available. Although these court records are stored on the state terminals, the files are not intuitive. We needed days to adequately understand the variables and weeks to parse the information. Now that we have converted the data into a more accessible format, we hope that the new database will increase transparency in civil court outcomes in North Carolina. Acknowledgements. We received the original VCAP-R package from Tyler Dukes, a writer for Raleigh News and Observer. We were also advised by Sean Chen, a librarian at Duke Law School.